Hey everybody, how's it going this week? Here with my weekly coffee roast. We've got our Kenyan beans this week. We're getting low. I think we only got these for one more week, and then the Dominican Republic for 2 more weeks. And then we'll see what we want to order next. So we'll be deciding that in the next couple weeks here. All right, so yeah, I got my bread machine ready to go. Got my cooling ready to go. Got my heat gun ready to go. Got the beans here. For those who are new, haven't tuned in yet, these are what green coffee beans look like. Really different than the brown ones you're used to seeing. This is 1 pound of beans, 16 ounces. This will end up being about between 12 and 13 ounces once you're done. Get the moisture content out. You'll lose moisture. They'll weigh less, but they'll be larger. And I've got my switch here because I modified the components. So that'll turn the beans. Got my heat gun here. Set it on. See, it's got 2 settings here, high and low. Turn that on. Turn that on. Get our timer going here. All right. So it was 2 weeks ago when I had that really good roast with these beans. It was on high for about 8 minutes, 8-ish minutes. Got the first crack right around then. Turned it down to low. That's kind of shaking. Turned it down to low, or the lower setting, and then let that sit for a couple minutes, 2-3 minutes. And then we had cranked it up to high for about a minute and stopped it right at second crack. So that will be the goal this week. Get something similar to that. That was really good. It smelled really good. It tasted really good. I think I commented on in a group I'm in that I don't really consider myself a snob. So I don't know. Coffee's coffee, but that one was a little bit better than normal. Yep, and so for those who are just tuning in for the first time maybe, this is just a bread machine. The Breadman bread machine. It's a 2 pound bread machine. There was like 1.5 and 2 pounds. This one was, I wanted to get the biggest one I could because I wanted to be able to roast at least a pound. At Goodwill for $7.99. Spent $20 getting the Teflon sandblasted off of the pan that's inside of it. I modified the innards here to just be able to turn off and on, which makes life easier. I was using the dough setting on it, and that worked, but eventually I got an error code, so I just bypassed all of this. Heat gun was like $20, $25. And really that was about it, So, for less than $50, I got myself a coffee roasting machine that it gives me great coffee every week. And the green coffee beans only cost me, $6 a pound-ish, between 5 and 8. It can be a little bit lower than that. It can be quite a bit higher than that. It's still really good, fresh, roasted coffee for half the price you're going to pay at the grocery store or somewhere else. So then you roast it. Then I'll turn the fan on here and then cool it down. You want to cool it down really quickly because even though you've stopped the bread machine, it's still obviously at the temperature it was at that it was roasting, and so you want to stop the roast. It's similar to if you have pasta and you put it in a strainer in an ice bath to try and, you know, stop the process of the pasta cooking. Three and a half minutes. I'm not seeing any chaff yet, but you can, since I do this in the evenings here, you can see this. It's really cool. I mentioned this last week. I was looking this up, this heat gun for the, again, some posts I was putting in some Facebook groups I'm in, and it's like 1100 degrees. It's like 1100 degrees for this, the high setting, and like 750 for the low setting. Seems really crazy. It's really hot, really hot. But you know, you got to roast it, so you need a hot temperature. Because you don't want to bake the beans. If you take too long, you'll bake them, and that's just, you don't get the same product. I don't think I've done that, but I can't imagine it's, obviously it's not as good because people don't do that. Still digging the side porch here because I got my light so you guys can see, so I can see, because, you know, it gets dark in winter, unfortunately. We have some new hanging plants that I'm doing my best at keeping alive. Starting to get some smoke here. Can't really see very well. Let me back up a little bit. No, can't really see. Not really getting much chaff either. Chaff is, it's like, I relate it to if you have peanuts and you crack a peanut and you got that sort of flaky, I say skin's not the right word, flaky whatever on the inside of the peanut shell. It's like that. Just saw one. But once they start drying out enough, they'll still shed that sort of outer layer, and it just kind of flakes up in the wind. It's this originally was this hole here was to use a shop vac to kind of suck that out to keep it kind of clean in there, cleaner. But really, it was just sucking out all the heat, a lot of the heat, which wasn't good at all. But it works actually really well. It's just a place for heat to escape, get some airflow in there, some of this, and a place for the chaff to come out. I'm guessing I must have kind of stumbled upon a good setup here with the distance of the heat gun to the beans, the size of the exhaust port here, and then I added insulation around the pot, the bread pan that's inside there, just to kind of help hold the heat in. Because I get a really good even roast every week. I've had a few that were too dark, one that was too light, but overall it's pretty consistent. And there are posts on these groups I'm in where people spend $100, $500 on a fancy roaster. They can only do half a pound, half of what I can do, and they have trouble getting consistent results every week. I have mentioned at some point I'm probably going to get some temperature probes, maybe. Put like one kind of up high, one down low for the bean temperature and for the air temperature. I don't know if I want to do that or not. It sounds cool because then you hook that up to a software in your computer, and it tracks the temperature. So then you can really have a better method of getting consistent results each week. So I'm starting to hear something. I think, where are we? 7:50. So getting close. See if you guys can hear it. Yeah. It's right on cue. So let's turn the heat down like we did 2 weeks ago. It was about 11.5 minutes total roast last time. So we'll give this a couple minutes at the lower setting. Crank it up to high for about a minute. Sounds like popcorn. I hope everybody's having a good week so far. It's been pretty nice weather. It was hot there for a while. That's my small talk right there. There. So you guys can see my entire face. Just the dark side. Ha ha ha. All right. At 10 minutes, I'll crank the heat up to high again. I need to work on my transition of holding the camera and getting the beans from here to there. I feel like you guys probably see some weird stuff or just some blackness, so I'm not really paying attention because I don't want to burn myself. So yeah, it's really kind of stopped cracking. So I think it was, I turned it up and it was kind of when I started hearing cracks again. It's when I pulled it last time. So, man, I think I might have heard something. And we're back. I just set the phone down that time. All right. Dancing beans. You guys should have seen my first setup I had. We're trying to cool the beans down. It was quite the little setup. Gretchen gave me a hard time for it. I gave myself a hard time. I had a big box with a hole cut in the top and a metal strainer, that I would put in the hole. Then I had my shop vac hooked up to the box, so then, you turn the shop vac on and it pulls the air through the hole. It through the strainer, through the beans to cool it down. But of course the box wasn't sealed very well. The box was ultimately too big, but it was, I already had it on hand. So the box wasn't perfectly sealed. The strainer didn't have a whole lot of holes in it. being a big box, it wasn't, the airflow, you know, the pressure, wasn't great. It was just not a good setup, and it was a lot of parts and pieces. This is so much simpler and so much faster. And it was stuff I had on hand, you know, just some scrap wood. Like I said, I had to go buy the screen, but in like a minute, it's cooled down. Come over here with the light, show you. Some Kenyan AA beans. It's crazy to think that these, you know, these beans, I don't know if it's a month ago, or I don't know how I guess ultimately how fresh they are. But at some point in their life, these were in Africa, and now they're in Manhattan, Kansas, you know, being roasted by me. It's crazy. Maybe next week I'll go over all the different types of beans I've had so far. And maybe have some, present some options of maybe some new stuff I haven't tried. See what you guys think. Till next week, have a good one. Drink some good coffee.